What's up guys, Ruppy here, and welcome to week 7 of the UNPL. Last week, our Columbus Swoo unfortunately ate another loss. I know, it's a little annoying, a little frustrating at this point. I am in the same boat, and I know my team agrees with me. But that has kind of been the wild swing that this generation has been, I think, for a lot of people. It is what it is. Some people have found their footing, others are still trying to find it. When they think they found it, they kind of lose it and then have to get it back. It happens. Especially since this generation has been so much more fast-paced than a lot of others. But at 2-4 minus 4, my Columbus Swoo are not quite out of the picture just yet. Though, with 3 weeks left in the regular season, we definitely have a lot of work we need to do in order to actually get ourselves a playoff spot. On the plus side, we do have a better differential than quite a few of the other teams we're fighting with to kind of get even a bottom seed for playoffs. So we do have that going for us. But a win this week would certainly help, as we will be taking on the DeMewlition Force, coached by EmeraldMiner. My team is kind of... We decided the Paradise Barrens would probably be a good place to set up our locker room this week, just because, well, I mean, the past few weeks have kind of been an up and down wasteland in a sense, so why not come to a wasteland and see if that helps motivate us to turn our season around so it doesn't end up like this, right? I don't know. I'm trying to stay positive, guys. Especially since I have been having a lot of fun with the UNPL, regardless of the outcomes. I know it doesn't come through a lot of the time, but that is the nature of competitive. You win some, you lose some. And so far, this is on track to be a potential losing season for me, but there's still 3 weeks left, so you never know. Anyway, let's go ahead and flip on over to the Teambuilder, and let's go ahead and see what I'm up against. Emerald's team will be appearing off to the right. It is as follows: Urshifu-Rapid-Strike, Mew, Ting-Lu, Fezandipiti, Iron Leaves, Noivern, Bisharp, Hisuian Typhlosion, Toedscruel, and Glaceon. His Tera captains are Noivern, which can terastallize into a flying, normal, or steel type, and his Hisuian Typhlosion, which can terastallize into a fire, water, or fighting type. Right off the bat, Urshifu-Rapid-Strike. I hate this thing. This thing has been the bane of my very existence for the longest time. Anyone who has seen me in, I think, both IBL and BBR in the Sword and Shield days will know exactly how much trouble I have had with this stupid water bear. It hits ridiculously hard. Surging Strikes being a 3-hit auto-crit move certainly does not help. It's got good bulk and a good speed tier, which makes it hard to kind of figure out half the time. Though I think my team is actually sitting at a good enough speed tier that maybe we can handle it. Hisuian Typhlosion is another problem. That thing's scarfed eruptions, especially if it goes Tera Fire, are going to hurt. Bisharp obviously I have to be wary of because of Defiant, and the fact that it now can use Eviolite makes that extra bulky. Mew is nigh impossible to prep for because it can do literally anything, even with Scarlet and Violet kind of nerfing what moves it can and can't have. It still can do just about anything you really need it to. Ting-Lu and Electros, actually a very solid defensive core. Yeah, Emerald's got a lot going for him with this team, and it's going to be a struggle to try to crack it, but I've kind of been cooking. Let's say that. I might have channeled my inner envy that I think everyone has at some point in time, in terms of, I think, going really out there with the sets, the Chinese EV spreads, as he prefers to refer to them. We'll see if it solves some of the issues I've been having so far this season, but it should be interesting nonetheless, and if nothing else, I'm looking to have some fun with this game. So let's start getting into my team, and we are going to start with the return of my Tornadus-Therian, Hraesvelgr. This is one of the sets I was talking about. The moveset may look fairly standard-ish, but I really got cooking with the EV spread here because, to be honest, Emerald's team it's got quite a few weaknesses I'm looking to exploit, namely Fire, Flying, and Fairy. So if there were any week where Tornadus-Therian could finally have its time to shine, this would probably be the week. So, this EV spread, believe it or not, this bulk investment actually allows Tornadus-Therian to virtually, basically, it's only really one shot by Urshifu-Rapid-Strike if it's banded because Surging Strikes is ridiculous. And maybe a Scarf Tera Fire Eruption from a full health Hisuian Typhlosion. Outside of that, it is at best 2-shot by some of Emerald's mons, but I could just as easily get Regenerator to get back up. With heavy duty boots, I don't have to worry about hazards, and Hraesvelgr is free to be an absolute menace. At 120 speed EVs and a timid nature, it will always outrun an Iron Leaves that is not scarfed or boosted by booster energy. But given Iron Leaves' stat distribution, he would have to be running very few attack EVs to be able to get a speed boost off of booster energy Quark Drive, which I can certainly take advantage of because Iron Leaves, without that 130 attack, really putting in some work for it. It's not that big of a threat, honestly. Which is certainly appreciated if that's the route he wants to go, but we'll see how it plays out. Hurricane, Focus Blast, Knockoff, and U-Turn pretty much does what Hraesvelgr really needs to do in this game. Hurricane hits everything stupidly hard, even with only 20 special attack EVs. Focus Blast covers the things that pretty much just about everything that resists Hurricane. And Knockoff and U-Turn are there for pivoting and getting rid of items. Because if I can shed items from the vast majority of his mons, it is going to make my life significantly easier in this game, I will tell you that. Especially the likes of Electros, because it could be Assault Vest. That and Tanglure are actually the only two things on this team. And potentially Fezandipiti, depending on how much special bulk it has, and Mew, depending on what set it is. But the primary two are Electros and Tinglu, that are not 2-shot by Hurricane or Focus Blast. But I've got ways of dealing with them, so Tornadus-Therian is here to basically just be a giant menace. Next on the docket is Mimi the Mimikyu finally coming back, and boy, I think I've got something interesting with her this time around. Because I decided, hey Mimi, have a choice scarf. Happy Halloween. Or I guess belated Halloween in this sense. I'm running the standard spread with a Jolly Nature just to make absolutely sure that Scarf Mimikyu will always outrun Scarf Hisuian Typhlosion. Because I can take an Eruption from it if that's the route that Emerald wants to go. And then proceed to either rip it apart with Shadow Claw, or just dent it in general, because any damage that thing takes to weaken Eruption is going to make my life significantly easier. Shadow Claw, Play Rough, R Stab, Drain Punch allows me to get some HP back, as well as recovering a lot of the fighting weaknesses that would otherwise threaten Mimikyu, things like Bisharp, and Glaceon actually hits fairly hard too if he gives it choice specs. I'm running Destiny Bond as my final move, as a bit of an interesting little, basically, if I feel like Mimikyu has done everything that she has really come to do with that Choice Scarf, but there's still something else that is significantly threatening me, I can send Mimi in, pop a Scarf Destiny Bond, and then when Mimi goes down, she will take whatever took her out with her, which, with any luck, will eliminate a colossal threat to pave the way for some of my other mons to be able to have better matchups. Moving down the line, we have the return of Aram the Serena. Have not really used her as much as I thought I might this season, so we're going to look to fix that a bit. I've also given her boots. She has Power Whip, High Jump Kick, U-Turn, and Rapid Spin. I'll be honest, I debated between High Jump Kick and Play Rough for the longest time, but ultimately I went High Jump Kick because, honestly, I think it covers more that would threaten my team overall as opposed to Play Rough, even though I did say Emerald's team does have a bit of a fairy weakness. It's mostly to cover the likes of Bisharp, who would otherwise resist, Glaceon, who, I mean, it would take, I mean, Power Whip and High Jump Kick both hurt it a lot. basically kind of covering some of my bases, because I do have fairy answers for a lot of everything else. Honestly, with this investment, the 80 speed EVs are really there just to kind of round out the speed to an even 200. To, I guess, kind of throw Emerald off on potential speed creeping. Which, I mean, for the likes of, say, Bisharp, that could be, and maybe even Electros, that could be quite interesting, depending on how bulky he wants to make those things. But Adamant Nature, 20 attack EVs, is really all I need for Serena to do some damage in this game. And this bulk layout, once again, aside from a few very specific things, which Tornadus-Therian actually kind of covers to some degree, Serena is, at best, two-shot by things. Granted, Serena does not have the ability to regain HP like Tornadus-Therian does, but I think the two of them will make a bulky pain combination in this game that will go a long way for me. Next up is Rain the Meloetta, and I decided to do something a little interesting this week, because I have this really solid feeling in my gut that Emerald is going to expect a special Meloetta of some kind, be it me attempting the Calm Mind set once again that has not worked all season, to maybe Assault Vest, maybe Specs, because Specs would kind of break a lot of stuff. I decided to do some breaking in a different sense. Because I'm almost positive he's going to bank on me bringing special Meloetta, I decided to go with a physical one. That's right, I'm bringing Pirouette Form Meloetta. And obviously for that I need Relic Song, which actually still does hit decently hard despite the stat loadout I've got. Close Combat, Zen Headbutt, and Play Rough pretty much cover everything that I would really need Meloetta to. I'm running Tera Fairy just to kind of give a little extra pop to Play Rough, especially since it actually makes a bit of a difference in whether or not I get a potential OHKO on certain Mons, whether or not I have Tera or not. With 216 speed EVs and a Jolly Nature, after I turn into Pirouette Form, Meloetta will always be able to outrun a non-Scarf Noivern, which is definitely the plan to catch him off guard, because Pirouette Form Meloetta actually becomes the fastest Mon on my team, faster than even Tornadus-Therian. So that is the plan with Rain this week. Rain is going to trade in the singing and music for Ballerina, I guess. And perhaps throw some of those point shoes right into the faces of Emerald's Mons and wreak a lot of havoc. The one downside to this, though, that I do want to address quick is the fact that because Wi-Fi has no way of enforcing Sleep Clause like, say, Showdown does, I do have to be a bit wary with Relic Song, because with Serene Grace factored in, it would be a 20% chance to put something to sleep, which, if I use Relic Song to transform and put something to sleep, and I don't proceed to knock it out, say Emerald switches it out for something else and keeps it asleep, then to really utilize Meloetta in its Pirouette Form, I would kind of have to keep it in and just go all in on it at that point. Because otherwise, I would either have to, one, bank on Relic Song not putting something to sleep, otherwise I would violate Sleep Clause, which I believe would disqualify me. Use Relic Song on the Mon that is asleep, assuming Emerald keeps it in, which, I mean, I don't know why you would do that, but it's a possibility. Basically, I just kind of have to be wary with Relic Song, so Meloetta might be more of a late game option after I've kind of dented everything else. I can just send it in, use Relic Song to transform, and then proceed to clean house. We'll see how it goes, but it's ultimately going to boil down to if Relic Song puts something to sleep or not. I do have to be wary of that and might just have to go all in on Meloetta once it's in if I do put something to sleep and don't just take care of it right then and there. Next up is Laundry Day, the Rotom-Wash. And Laundry Day is here to kind of be a pain this week. Full Switch and Hydro Pump for Stab, because those are really the only offensive moves that Rotom-Wash will need to run like 95% of the time. I have both Will-O-Wisp and Thunder Wave. I'm running dual status this week. Reason being is because of how Emerald's team is laid out. I legitimately feel like Laundry Day could spread a ton of status throughout his team and cause a lot of problems. Things like Iron Leaves being burned would certainly make that thing less of a threat. Urshifu-Rapid-Strike, if that thing is burned, it is much less of a threat, which would be, I would be all for. Burning Bisharp would be nice. Using Thunder Wave to slow down things like Noivern would be nice. Thunder Wave on Mew would work just as well because it can't synchronize the paralysis back onto me because Rotom-Wash is an electric type. Burning Toedscruel would certainly chip that thing down. There's a lot I can do with this. To basically spread fast throughout his team and kind of cripple things to set up for some of my other mons to pick the bones, I guess. I'm not running any special attack EVs. 128 speed without a boosting nature is enough to outrun Adamant Max Speed Bisharp if he wants to go that route. Jolly hits less hard, so I'm not as concerned about that. This bulk is able to take quite a few hits, especially with leftovers being able to recover things for me. Unfortunately, it's not enough to be able to take hits from Urshifu-Rapid-Strike, but that's kind of the name of the game with that mon. It just hits so stupidly hard that... Really the main issue with Urshifu-Rapid-Strike that I'm going to kind of end up playing is... It's mostly going to boil down to a game of... If it's banded, does it lock itself into Surging Strikes or Close Combat? Because my main defensive mons, that being Serena, Rotom-Wash, and Tornadus-Therian, can take one, but not the other. So, and if he's not running a band, I think I actually take the hits. Maybe Life Orb would be a problem, but it would be interesting. I kind of have to play it cautiously and see exactly how he wants to play it, especially since I can't run something like Protect to Scout because of that thing's stupid Unseen Fist ability. But it's basically going to be a mind game I'm going to have to be wary of throughout the entire course of the game if I want to have the success I'm looking for. Then last but not least, we have Calamity the Infernape. And much like I decided to flip the script with Meloetta this week, I'm kind of doing the same with Infernape. Because I'm bringing special Specs Ape this week. Overheat, Aurasphere, and Grass Knot. Really, Overheat and Aurasphere kind of decimate a huge chunk of this team anyway, especially Overheat. I opted Aurasphere over Focus Blast just because I would rather the guaranteed hit, especially since Overheat does have the potential to miss in its own right. Grass Knot is mostly there for the likes of Urshifu-Rapid-Strike and Tinglu. I do have to be cautious with Urshifu-Rapid-Strike though, because that thing does get Aqua Jet, so I would certainly need to scout for that. Thankfully, I do have Serena and Queenly Majesty, which pretty much nullifies priority, which also kind of works in my favor against Bisharp. But Calamity's here to basically you put her choice specs to work and proceed to blow everything up. I also have U-turn on there just to be able to pivot around, get some nice shots on things. A little extra chip damage certainly never hurt anyone. The 224 speed guarantees that I will always outrun Iron Leaves. So that is the plan there. We're going to go ahead and flip on back over to the locker room now because, well, I've explained everything that I've cooked up this week. Hopefully it works. If it doesn't, it is what it is. But I actually had a lot of fun kind of coming up with some of these ideas this week. And it's going to be fun getting to put them into practice and see whether or not they actually work out for me. So, my team and I will see you guys when it's battle time. Alright, it is battle time. Let's see if I can turn my fortunes around once again and maybe turn the season around in the second half of it. So let's see, we have Mew, Fezandipiti, Tinglu, Toedscruel, Noivern, and Urshifu-Rapid-Strike. So, no Hisuian Typhlosion is a little surprising and actually kind of nice. No Iron Leaves is nice. No Bisharp. No, there are a couple things I'm surprised that he didn't bring. Looking over this, though, I wouldn't be surprised to see a Mew lead. I also wouldn't be surprised at a Tinglu or a Toedscruel lead. part of me's tempted to just leave Laundry Day and kind of figure it out from there. No, I'm gonna lead Race. Whoop. Controller got caught up for a second there. I'm just gonna lead Hracefelger, actually. Because honestly, it's got a really solid lead to just see what he's going for and just pivoting out. So, good luck, have fun, EmeraldMiner. And let's see how this battle goes. Can my Swoo somehow get back on the board? Gonna lead with the Noivern. Fair enough. That does not surprise me in the slightest. He knows I'm Boots. Was a little concerned with that brief little stall there at the beginning. So let's see. If he teras right away... Unless he's like a spec set, I can take anything from him. Even if he were specs, it's a roll. So honestly, I'm actually fine with just going knockoff and seeing how he wants to play this. He's just going to U-turn out, which is absolutely fine with me. Because whatever comes in, it's going to lose its item. And then we go from there. And if it's something that was Scarfed, then Tornadus-Therian will definitely be able to outspeed it after the fact. So, what are you sending in to kiss its item goodbye? Because Hracefelger is ready to blow something away. Kind of. Fezandipiti! I do not mind getting rid of that thing's item in the slightest. Black Sludge, okay, so definitely a bulkier set of some kind, which definitely makes a lot of sense. And since I know I can take a hit from it, I'm tempted to just stay in a Hurricane. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that, just to get some more damage off on this thing. Especially since now it doesn't have passive recovery. See how he wants to play this, because Hracefelger is ready to go. Hurricane's gonna take a chunk out of it. Beat up! Okay, that is some interesting tech. I mean, he does have all 6 Mons, so that did a bit. What would I want to potentially send into that? Beat up. That is extremely interesting, honestly. And since I know I can definitely take that, I think I'm just going to go for another Hurricane. Just wear this thing down more. As it goes for the roost. Okay. That is good to know. And on that note, I'm just going to go ahead and U-turn out now. Tiny bit more chip. Go ahead and get some Regenerator going for Hracefelger. And now the question becomes, what do I want to throw at this thing now? And honestly, part of me is extremely tempted to just send in Rotom-Wash. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do that. We're going to go Laundry Day. I know this thing is not a flying type. Why, I will never know, because it is very clearly a bird. But Beat Up is not doing a whole lot. And I can just get Leftovers Recovery back, and then we can figure this out from there. Oh! That's why! Toxic Chain! That's actually really clever, not gonna lie. That's annoying. Very annoying, but it's fine, it's fine. I'm just gonna go ahead and Will-O-Wisp you. So that way I've got some, since this thing doesn't have its way of passive recovery anymore, I can start That's gonna weaken beat up, because that is a physical move. This Fezandipiti is actually gonna be a bit of a pain now. Not a fan. Okay, I need to figure out how I'm gonna handle you, because this is a bit annoying. I feel like you go the beat up plan again. And if that's the case, what I want to do... Do I send in... Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and Volt Switch. Did not think Fezandipiti was going to become this big of an issue. Okay. So beat up is a physical dark move. I think we're just gonna go into Calamity. And then see what this thing wants to do from here. And it's just gonna go for the beat up. It's got 6 rolls with a 30% chance to badly poison me through Toxic Chain, which is annoying, but I respect the tech. Of course it's gonna get it. And... it's gonna take Burn Chip. This is the part where I pop something with a Specs Overheat. If this thing wants to stay in, it can be my guest. If it wants to switch out, I will gladly get a big hit off on something and go from there. Because this thing is starting to get on my nerves a bit. Ideally, I think my best bet to deal with the thing at this point would be to maybe get Meloetta in. I just ideally want to do it in a way where I'm not taking the beat up while I'm still in my original form. And fire off the Specs Overheat. Take a huge chunk out of this thing. As it U-turns. Okay, you know what? I will take that, actually. Because Fezandipiti is incredibly worn down, and I can pick the thing off later. I will gladly take that. It's just a matter of what comes in now. 2 of my mons being toxic does suck, but it's fine. It's fine. It's almost like I'm dealing with toxic spikes without having to deal with the toxic spikes. Here comes Ting Lu, which is probably going to set hazards if I were to hazard a guess. Ba-doom-tsh. Okay, since I'm Specs, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. And... I guess that's the question, do I want to go into Aram or Hraesvelgr on this one? And honestly, I'm kind of thinking Hraesvelgr. Yeah, I'm going to do that just so I can avoid any potential earthquakes this thing might want to throw instead of setting up rocks or any other form of hazard. So Tornadus-Therian's going to come out as this thing does in fact set rocks. Noted. I'm just going to go ahead and knock off, get rid of whatever item this thing's got. See how he wants to play this. Because I know I can take hits from this thing. If Fezandipiti comes in, it will... Yes, it can take the knockoff, but... Alright, gonna get rid of this thing's item, which was... Choppleberry! Okay, I see ya. As he goes Rock Slide. Which I do take. I can take another one, honestly, too, if I really want to. I guess it's a question of, do I actually want to? And in that regard, I don't think I actually do. So... I'm just going to go ahead and U-turn out. Take another chunk out of this thing. Go ahead and get Hraesvelgur's Regenerator going. The temptation to go into Rain is actually pretty strong right now. But part of me also wants to go into Serena. Yeah, I think Serena's the safer play, honestly. Because I don't take any damage from rocks because of boots. I can spin those away if I see fit. Ruination! Hate that. Good to know it exists, but I hate that. And honestly, I think my best move is just a Power Whip. I mean, yes, it should threaten this thing out. Depending on the bulk he's running, it should be able to take it, though. I don't know if he knows that or not. He's got to know I'm Boots since I took no Rock Chip. And from there, it really becomes a matter of what he sends in. Because ideally, I would love to be able to spin these rocks away. Probably should have just gone ahead and spun, but... It'll be fine. We'll make it work. Perhaps he predicts the spin and stays in, or maybe he sends in something predicting the spin. That's going to be the Toad Scroll, which is not going to appreciate this Power Whip in the slightest. And honestly, I'm going to go ahead and spin these rocks away, and I think I might actually be able to pick up a Rapid Spin kill here. Which would be incredible if that is in fact what happens. He's going to Leaf Storm, which Aram takes. Special attack is going to harshly fall. I'm going to get rid of these rocks, and get the Rapid Spin kill. Nice! So, on the downsides, Serena is heavily dented, and Rotom-Wash and Infernape are both toxic. On the plus side, though, Toadscroll is gone, and Fezandipiti is heavily damaged. And honestly, for the most part, Serena did the biggest thing I needed it to do, which was check Toadscroll. So, Mew comes in now. Really not sure what this thing wants to do, but I'm going to go ahead and U-turn anyway. And he just goes ahead and Psyshocks. Which is going to take Aram out, which is fine. That is absolutely fine. So in that regard, I could send in Mew, or I could send in Mimikyu, maybe threaten with a Shadow Claw. Meloetta is tempting, but I'm not the biggest fan of that idea. Let's see if I can... Honestly, I'm gonna go back into Hraesvelgur, because I can take a Psyshock. I think I can take pretty much anything this Mew would want to throw at me. And we're going to go ahead and knock off, get rid of whatever item this thing is holding, and do a ton of damage in the process. He's just going to withdraw. And out is gonna come the Tinglu again, which is definitely gonna try to set rocks back up. No two ways about it there. So if I U-turn out, and go into, say, Meloetta, actually, this might not be a bad time to go for it. I think it would really put him on the back foot in that case, if that's how we play this. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and U-turn out, get more damage off on this thing. And then I think we're going for it. I'm going to go ahead and send in rain. And we're going to get this party started. As he just goes ahead and gets his rocks up. Now we're cooking. Because I'm going to go ahead and fire off this Relic Song and transform into Pirouette form. Which, turning into Fighting type is actually going to be quite beneficial here. And if I can put this... If this thing goes to sleep too, that would actually be kind of huge. And Rain would be in a really good spot. He's probably curious now as to why on earth I sent Meloetta in on this thing. We're gonna unleash the Relic Song. Take a chunk out of this thing. Become Pirouette form. Do not get to sleep, it looks like. Ruination. That is definitely gonna suck. But we can make it work. And honestly, if I Tera right here, then I don't have to worry about close combat's drop. So we're going to go ahead and go for this. So, you ever seen a terastallized Pirouette form, Meloetta? If you haven't, now you have. Honestly, that doesn't look that bad. Looking good, Rain. So I'm gonna miss the play rough. Okay. Okay. That is actually really annoying. I probably should have just gone for the close combat in hindsight, but I didn't want the defense drops. I didn't want to give Mew or especially Urshifu that to work from. So that is incredibly annoying, and I had such high hopes for Meloetta in this game, and I'm not a fan of that trade, honestly. I am really not a fan of that trade that just happened. So, what comes in here? I would not be surprised if it's Urshifu, honestly. I'm gonna send in Laundry Day. And we're gonna figure this out. It's gonna be the Noivern. He has not Terra'd yet. I'll say he knows I've got leftovers. So if he's Terra normal with Boom Burst, I might be able to take this actually. I'm gonna go ahead and Thunder Wave this thing. Slow it down. And he just goes ahead and U-turns out. Okay. Intriguing. And he's just constantly U-turning with Noivern. But whatever comes in, honestly, outside of Fezandipiti, which, of course, Fezandipiti is going to come in. Of course, Fezandipiti is going to come in. So I've got two ways I can play this now. Because this thing is going to survive. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and Volt Switch. Because it will definitely pick this thing off. Get rid of it. So no more Toxic Chain shenanigans. And it allows me to be able to hang on to Rotom-Wash for potential death fodder. And against Mew, Urshifu-Rapid-Strike, and Noivern? Honestly, I think Scarf Mimikyu is actually in a really good spot right now to be able to just go from here. Because it definitely outruns all three of them. Well, unless Mew or Noivern are Scarf, but they have to break Disguise first. So I do still have that going for me. As we're going to go Urshifu-Rapid-Strike. I'm just going to go ahead and unleash Scarf Play Rough. And do a huge chunk of damage to this thing. Surging Strikes. Do I take? If it's just 2 hits I actually take, do I actually... Mimikyu does in fact live! So I'm just going to go ahead and click Play Rough again because I'm Scarf. If he is banded, then he's locked into Surging Strikes. Nope, he is not banded. That is actually really good to know. So now the question becomes, how do I want to handle this from here? Because Infernape does not have... I didn't put priority on Infernape. That is a mistake on my part. If Urshifu is not banded... I haven't seen Life Orb on this thing. A close combat would kill, though. So I'm not sure what item it has. But I do know that I can go into Hraesvelgr. I feel like this is my play. And I'm just going to go ahead and go for the Hurricane. If he wants to Aqua Jet, I can take it. No matter what item this thing is holding. Knowing that it's not banded is actually a relief. Because I think I handled this thing better in that regard. I know a Surging Strikes will not OHKO me. That is a for sure. Especially since something like that could happen. That is actually really annoying. That is incredibly irritating. Not gonna lie. I mean, that is the risk with Hurricane, unfortunately. I'm just gonna flat switch in the Laundry Day. That Hurricane miss sucks, but I should have seen it coming. Honestly. At this point, though, I would rather this scenario. I love that Rotom doesn't even die to the Surging Strikes. That is incredible, honestly. I'm just gonna go ahead and... I'm probably gonna die to saying... Yeah, he's gonna go for the Surging Strikes, I figured. So, this is a little annoying, but... Blazefelger should be able to take another Surging Strikes if it comes down to it. But, Bud, I really need you to hit this Hurricane right now. Thank you! And goodbye, Urshifu! That was a pain. It was an unfortunate pain, but it was a pain nonetheless. So now we come to the issue of you and whatever you are. I'm just going to go ahead and Hurricane again. As he goes ahead and teras, I should be able to... Whatever Terra he goes for, I should be able to take this move. It is Terra normal. So I would assume Boom Burst. Yep, there's that. And I do not take that. Okay, and that is going to be ball game. That... I mean... There's nothing more I can really say. GG, EmeraldMiner. Congrats on the win. I just hate... I feel like this is the thing, I feel like I had a solid game plan here, and I feel like I was executing it pretty well. But those crucial misses kind of ruined me. The Hurricane miss, it sucks, but I can kind of let it slide because it's Hurricane. That one's on me for going for the more powerful but less accurate move. That Play Rough miss, though... In retrospect, I should have just gone for the close combat and just taken out Ting Lu. It would have put me at much more health, even though I would have had the lower defenses. But I was trying not to go that route, and the Play Rough, the move with 90% accuracy, did happen to miss. Which that sucks so much, and I'm pretty sure that is the death of any hope I had at making playoffs because of that turn of events alone. Regardless, though, GG EmeraldMiner, and I hope you guys still enjoyed this battle regardless of how things fell apart for me because of things beyond my control. Thank you guys so very much for watching. I have been Ruppy, and my Columbus Swoo and I will see you guys next time. Take care.